Honesty is powerful because you're going to be honest with other people in a world where a lot of people aren't honest, so it's very, very rare and unique. And then you're going to be honest with yourself. So when there's something you have to work on or something you have to change, you're going to be honest with yourself.
And meeting in the middle, you have Bryan Baker in the all-black trunks and Elias in the black and red. We did have a cup click right away in that first kick.
But Baker's ready to go. Baker's not...
They just look like a glance and blow.
Yeah. He's not taking big movements, which is real smart. When you got this guy moving around who uses irregular movements, nice, small, simple adjustments.
Now, in terms of their bases, how do you see this maybe unfold for each guy, with Baker having a taller stance, a little bit more traditional and orthodox, as opposed to Elias, who sits a little bit lower and uses fluid movement from side to side?
You know, Baker's just literally going to look for straight line punches, right? And Elias is going to do. Oh,
this is a strong right hand from Elias.
Oh, he's got him hurt.
It down. He's got him hurt right away. Elias is pouncing for the kill.
He's throwing hard shots right away. That's kind of what you're talking about, that aggression, you know. You haven't seen that a lot from him, a ton, you know.
The last two fights, that's where what he's been about. And when he, after the Derek Brunson fight that he lost, you get cut. There's people saying, not that you're listening to the audience, but if it affects your job, that he's not aggressive and that he's passive. And the last couple of fights, he has predatory aggression, and you see it here.
Yeah, and it's good to say I'm not listening, but you're always listening. Everyone's listening, and that's just human nature.
Yep.
You want to be liked. You want people to respect what you're doing because you're putting everything into it. So, it's working good for him here.
Yep.
And I feel like in the world of social media and the digital era that we're in now, it's harder to ignore the naysayers, if you will, that way, because it's a 24/7 news cycle. There is comments. There's anything that could be going all the time that someone is in your ear.
This is a nice spot.
Yeah, he had his hips propped up. That was a different spot. Oh.
Elias pinned the arm now. This is that aggression, always looking to hurt, right? These are bad shots. He might be.
That right elbow was.
I thought I saw his eyes roll too. I thought I saw that too.
Yeah.
He is doing big damage here.
Got to find an ear.
Those last couple of fights of his, it has been hyper aggressive. And really, it's just a slight change in his approach, but it's a mindset change. And he's got real good coaches, real good people around him, and they work on that. They study that. They develop that. Now an arm trap, two arms trapped, elbows. Jeez.
It's good with the wrist control there.
Yep. He's going to maybe lose this. No. Baker did a great job of taking that bottom leg, but he's still tangled.
Yeah. It's because he's on the outs.
It's a good choice by Baker. Good work to get up here. Elias, will just turn from under the arm.
Yeah. Elias is strong. You can tell how strong he's going. If he can keep that head on center line, he could finish that 10-finger choke. He's got to get the head on center line and hip in. He's going cow catcher here, old school wrestling.
Old school.
He's going to shoot that arm through here.
And this is tiring, too.
That's Oh, I thought he was going to keep the head there and go.
Now he's trapped the right arm under his leg.
Gentlemen, I'll tell you what, the story of me for this fight has been Elias' lower half. The way that he's been able to use his legs to rudder out the legs for Bryan Baker when they've been in some of those grappling exchanges, and then the way that he was able to use it right there on that toss to get the action back down to the canvas. Those are some of the little things, the minutiae or the details that people may not notice, but obviously play such a pivotal role in this fight.
He also made choices when Baker had his leg. He was like, okay, I'm fine here. Let him keep my leg. Let him have it. Now I know where his hands are. Yeah. And his hands are not protecting him.
He's realizing the threats and adjusting correctly.
Knee to the body here is a good choice.
Yeah, or soccer kick. That's a not very common technique, but it's a devastating technique. I watched Khalil Roundtree do that to get into the tough house, and it was one of the most devastating things I've ever seen.
To the body?
To the body. On the cage like this, he came out and just soccer kicked the body.
There's all these things that exist in the gaps in between choices that we are still thinking about. we don't see this a lot either, but when people post, you can kick that arm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can kick that arm. That's a weak, fragile part of the body, right? There's a lot of these things in there. Baker's working hard, but
burning a lot of energy to get to his feet and brought right back down.
So Elias is not from elevation, but the dude is always in sick shape. But this may be an equalizer for him. Elevation may take that advantage and equalize it slightly, where he normally is in better shape than anyone he's fought.
Right.
You had Baker trying to look for the judo toss right there.
This is just an exhausting fight. You know, if you're Baker, you're on bottom. This guy's on you. He's touching you. He's choking you. He's keeping your head pinched. You know, it's not easy.
These are all legal.
These are landing.
Yep, they're all there.
How tough is that to always have to deal with someone over the top of you in that front headlock position? Obviously, the whole round wasn't spent there, but there was a considerable amount of time in that position.
Anytime your spine is compressed like that, it's exhausting. You know, you're not getting full breaths. You can't breathe correctly, but you're also trying with different muscles. You know, if I got my head in line and my spine in line, I'm strong. I can defend. My head's compressed. I'm weak, but I'm trying to still defend with strength, and I can't. And then I can't breathe either. You put those two things together, it's tough.
And think about a squat or a deadlift. Very mechanically sound. I got my chest up high. I got my hips underneath me. As soon as you bend that thing, you can't deadlift nothing. You know, like you're not able to breathe properly. You don't have mobility in your hips. Yeah, it's tough. It's exhausting. And then you're getting kneed in the head, punched, elbowed. Yeah, man, fighting's tough.
Yeah, don't forget he got dropped early in that round too, you know.
Tough dude, man.
Yeah.
Just got right up, you know.
We'll see how fast Elias takes it to him here. You know, I think he'll try to turn up pace here.
Yep. I don't know if I've seen Elias drop a guy with a punch before.
Ever changing.
Yeah, ever changing, that's right. But this is smart. You know, if you felt his, you know, it's such a fascinating thing when you're working and you start to feel his breathing get heavier. You start to hear a bit of wheezing. You start to feel him weaken, right? If you feel that, you want to get that right on him again.
High percentage choices, like you said.
Yep.
He did mention, though, that the altitude may come into play a little bit for Elias there. It did look like he shook his arms out slightly.
Yep. Yeah. That's different. That advantage that is always an advantage for him might be more of an even now. Yeah, he doesn't mind, you know, how you defend here. As long as he's going to be entangled in here, he'll believe he can get the better position. Yeah. He's being choked, though. Like it's not a no.
He's doing a good job of keeping his head tall, like we said, keeping that spine aligned. And this is smart for him. You know, he's winning this position. Yeah. And he's getting a chance to breathe.
And he's making Baker work.
Yeah,
he's working too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's smart to win these minutes, win these little positions where you're not really killing yourself to be there, you know?
If you're Baker, what point is this choke diminishing returns? Point of diminishing returns.
He believes in it, though. He believes in it. Yeah, and it's an odd shape to it. You know, it's a weird modified bulldog.
It's almost like a neck crank.
Yeah, it is. Here. It is. It's old school, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's smart. Go half really, there. He should go cow catcher here. Shoot that other arm through.
Man, Baker came to fight too, man.
Yes, he did. And those elbows are finding a way right to that ear spot, folks. So those are completely legal here.
Baker try to pick that ankle out. No, he's keep staying on the leg.
Does have his hands locked for that single should he choose to. He could potentially also work a little bit of pump and dump here, pressing Elias into the fence and using the momentum to turn and rock him off.
He's going to struggle to finish this because his head's so low. Yeah. He's got that bent back. He needs to get his chest up.
Yep. And it's a lot of work. And then Elias got the old BJ Penn frame. He also will put himself into odd spots. You'll see spots that normally guys aren't in, and he knows he's okay there. It's a really interesting. He's got a lot of like old school, real wrestling room wrestlers that he works with, and different thinkers too. You know, you see it. Like this isn't a spot you'd normally sit in and elbow, and he feels comfortable here because he understands the position so well.
Right.
In terms of his grip setup, a couple of mechanical shifts from Bryan Baker, and he could get this takedown. If
But see,
his butt down
got the
and
head
gets his
low,
hips
right?
in.
See,
Right,
there's that
exactly.
same thing we've been talking about, the curvature of the spine, the head low. He keeps dropping his own hips to try to get underneath it, which is an answer.
He needs to, he's dropping his
close,
hips,
but
so he
he's
needs to
not there.
reshoot to get up. He needs his chest up. Because even if he finishes this, which he might, his head's going to be so low, it's going to be hard to be offensive.
Yep. Yeah, smart movement though, like nice tight on the, I believe it's half guard, tight on that, with another foot kind of tangled up in there. Even this, he offers you a bit of his back. You notice it's interesting. It's because it works. It works for him a lot.
Well, it's a look that people aren't used to seeing, so how do you counteract something you've never rehearsed?
And you can't, it's tasty. Like you want to move to it because it looks like it's more than it is. So it kind of stalemates you into hanging out there.
And from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, it almost works in his favor right now, being up against the fence, in that Baker can't really step around to take the full back, and he can get his shoulder blades across, and he can start to scrape and try to potentially get that right elbow inside to clear himself back and get face up.
And notice the head still curved. There it goes. Now he's into a better spot. But even this is a different modified positioning.
Yeah, he wants to get his right elbow through here and reverse the position. He's getting his hips up, which is good. High hips wins in this spot. Short time.
Yeah, tough one. I mean, Elias is the guy who did the damage. He is elbowing, he was punching, but you don't know that the refs are necessarily understanding all of this. You don't know if they're boxing refs. You know, you don't really know, right?
And you don't know what they're feeling tonight. That's the thing.
That's
Sometimes it's like maybe one of the refs prefers jiu-jitsu. Maybe one of the refs prefers striking it.
Yeah.
So you don't really have,
And they don't know that. They're just people. They don't know exactly what they might be preferring. They wouldn't verbalize it, but somewhere in there, they're prioritizing what they see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Now, just looking at it, broad stroke, 30,000-foot view coming into this third round right here. How do you see this fight so far? Do you see it as a 2-0 for the Red Corner, or do you see it split so far?
If I'm in the corner, I'm telling him it's 1-1. You got to go win the third.
Yes, agreed.
I'm not definite on either way. I'm telling him you got to go win this round if you want to win the fight.
And I'm telling Baker we're gonna knock this guy out. That's what we got to do. We might be down 2.
Yeah.
And if you're Elias, it's like we need this round. Also, Elias is gonna fight better if he fights to win this round.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. There is no play. You know, goaltend. You know, just hang out and protect the net. Like there's none of that in fighting.
Correct.
Baker's still super dangerous. You can see it. You know, and he's loosening up those hands because he's gonna let him go.
And 5 minutes for it all.
It's interesting because he also has a pretty awkward striking
Yeah, he
style.
does.
He's very tall. These guys are both tired.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Good
under the
level
hook. Yeah,
change.
real nice.
If he can take him down in space here, that's going to be really big for him.
But back to the cage now.
That arm on the neck is deep so far, but Baker's doing a good job of trying to get himself at least out of danger of the choke.
There's a knee coming, Thomas, I think, was yelling for Baker to disengage. But, you know, now Baker's the guy in a real legit spot here. But look, Elias is elevating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
smart.
going to be careful here.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. And he's a little different.
Yeah, he's got that different kind of funk to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Beautiful jiu-jitsu.
Yep. Yeah, funk is the right word. There's a little funk to the way he does it, but it's correct.
Yeah,
it's
If
just
we're looking
different.
at this coming around right here, we might see a little bit of danger right now.
Yeah.
The standing guillotine from Bryan Baker. That arm is deep across. That's deep right now.
Oh, he's got the...
Elias circled around and laced this, and he's going to lift him up. Yeah. And then you pass the half guard, and now you're going to, now.
Look, Von Flew, elbows, damage.
And now you believe you can win this fight. If you keep him here and punch him, you'll start being pretty sure you won it.
Yeah, and that's
Beautiful.
the danger of holding on to that choke for too long.
Yeah.
You got to either finish or use it to sweep, you know. And it was deep. It was tight.
It was
felt
deep.
good, but
And that's why it's appealing, right? It's an interesting game, a lot of neat stuff. Like, he offers you things that you think are better than they are.
Yeah.
He's lying to you a little bit. It's a funk's the right word. I like it. Yeah.
You got toes on the fence right now.
Just shucks it off, drives the shoulder through, and now you just really squash and grind and work here. Never wrestled in high school. He never did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, interesting,
Just
right?
a skateboard.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the awesome power of skill development, and we can all do it. If somebody watching this wants to learn to wrestle, you go to work and you learn to wrestle. You want to learn to play the piano, you practice, right?
Yep.
And this is the power of skill development, and when you believe in it, and you do the work, you can accomplish great things.
Yep.
Baker's trying to set up an arm bar. He's been active with his foot on the hips from this guard position, trying to work for something to come through from Elias.
You
right
go
there.
knee on face to hold it, and then you move your knee and punch him. One point deduction. Now you know Baker knows he needs to finish this fight if he wants to win it. They're not. Well, one is. The little one is. You know,
It's an odd call there.
Yeah. Well, he warned him a bunch of times.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
He did warn him multiple times,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
in the state of Colorado,
I mean, it's
there's not supposed to be a warning. Anything that goes through
Yeah.
the fence, it's technically supposed to be a point here
Yeah,
in Colorado.
so he
I
gave him
couldn't-
more.
I was listening to you guys. I couldn't hear the warnings,
Yeah.
but I did notice that a couple times.
Baker's job right now is separate.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do to separate, you separate. If there's a reversal to be had, maybe, you know,
Let him go.
Oh, they're standing him up. That's interesting.
It was an odd
sequence of
stoppage.
separation here.
Yeah. It was a really odd stoppage.
Yeah.
Elias
very
was
strange.
working.
Yeah, he was working. Yeah, there's a real wobble to Baker's legs, but that could be lies. You know, he could
And
be.
a big look at the clock and deep breath from Elias.
Yeah. Yep. He's going to be aware. A minute's a long time when you're exhausted, you know, and they both are.
They got 60 seconds to try to make something happen here.
Elias throws the left hand, falls into it.
Elias wants to put him on the cage. You know, or even get put on the cage, especially with the point deduction.
49 seconds now. Cover up and go forward. You know your man is wobbled too. You know he's a little weak. So Elias did the smart thing. Literally just shelled himself in and put helmet in.
Yeah. I would just circle.
Now
you know, with the point deduction and the round so
Yes.
far, you probably won. You don't
Yeah.
need to put yourself in a dangerous spot to get hit by something big.
Elias now at elevation knows what opponents have felt when they fight him.
Right,
He's
yeah.
now having the experience because he exhausts everybody. He's never had this experience before. But with 16 seconds left, if you're Baker, you got to throw the fastball. Oh, it goes to the body. Great option.
Pretty interesting adversity when the shoe's on the other foot, right?
Yeah, and you wonder sometimes too, like how much did he exert himself in the beginning when he hurt him?
Yep. Good stop. Baker going to the body. Smart. You know, right down to the wire, exhausted, both guys burnt. Baker's trying to take him out, because if you light the liver up and he collapses, the ref will stop it.
Yeah.
That was very smart.
For sure.
Both guys took a trip up Grit Mountain on that fight.
Yeah, they did with a bag full of rocks on their back.
Oh, yeah. That was a massive rucksack that they took.
Yeah. Elias now knows what people he fought felt at the end there.
Certainly.
You know, elevation is a real thing, man.
Yeah, it's no joke, and if you, like I said, there's no way to train for it.
Nope. You find yourself in there, and then you're gonna have to be asked to force yourself through the quicksand to keep fighting, and both men did. You know, both men did.
Yeah, it was a great fight. You know, both guys laid it all on the line.
Yeah, you know, Bryan Baker, his nickname's the Beast. That dude is a beast, man. Like, it was on him, and he never at all started to fold mentally. Just was in it right to the end.
Yeah, you know, and he started to turn it up at the very end, you know.
Yep, that's a tough fight to go through, to navigate for both those guys. What a great night of fights. What a great night of fights.
100%. What a phenomenal night of action that the fans here at the Island Grove in Greeley, Colorado were in treat for. Everybody who watched from home, we want to thank you all for your support of local MMA. We cannot do what we do without your support. So everything that you do, sharing, liking, buying the streams, that all matters, ladies and gentlemen, when you're supporting a small business like Colorado Combat Club.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great night of fights. Everybody brought their A game. Everybody showed up prepared, you know. That shows their respect for the sport and for their teams, and we appreciate that as commentators. You know, we look forward to these, and getting to call awesome fights is definitely a bonus.